we're learning who police believe fired the shot that killed Mahogany Jackson. Our Jen Horton, and there in court as 6 of those 8 suspects were in court today, Jen.
Jonathan, this is one of the few things that we don't have on camera. One of the few things that happened to Mahogany Jackson that police just don't have cell phone video of. But today
At 7:58 in the morning, a mother in Alabama got a text from her daughter. It didn't say help. It said, "Don't call. Send the police. Hurry." 26 hours later, that daughter, 20 years old, a mom herself, was found on the side of a road, shot in the back of the head. And by the end of this video, you're going to find out that the people responsible knew about that text message before they killed her.
So good evening. The Birmingham Police Department announces 7 arrests have been made in the Mahogany Jackson homicide investigation. On Sunday, February 25th, 2024, the Birmingham Police Department officers began investigating the missing persons case of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson. Mahogany sent a text message to a family member that she had been kidnapped. Early the following day, officers and detectives discovered Mahogany's body in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue. Investigators determined that she had been shot. With assistance from the community, detectives were not only able to locate Mahogany Jackson's body, but detectives took 7 suspects responsible for Mahogany's murder into custody within 48 hours of this investigation. On Wednesday, February 28, 2024, detectives were able to obtain arrest warrants for the following suspects.
Her name was Mahogany Jackson, 20 years old, a young mother with a little girl who adored her. Here's the part that makes this case sit differently than most. The people who would spend the next several hours hurting her weren't strangers. Police were blunt about this. Mahogany and everyone eventually charged in her death knew each other. On the evening of February 24th, 2024, Mahogany walked, on her own, into an apartment on McMillan Avenue in southwest Birmingham. Nobody dragged her there. She went because she believed a man named Brandon Pope had gone into her purse and taken something, cash, and a gun that had already been stolen from her once.
One thing you'll never see a bitch like me doing is arguing with one of you hoes. Cause you wanna know why? Bitch, I don't know how to argue. I'm gonna run out of shit to say. And bitch, soon as I stutter, I'm gonna smacking the shit at you. Cause how I don't know what the fuck to say. You got me stuttering, hoe, and now I'm finna smack the fuck at you cause you got me looking dumb, bitch.
And that is so hard for me. It's so hard, you know. It's sad thinking about, you know, how much life she still had ahead of her. That's gone. There's nothing I can do about it. It's nothing I can do about it. You know, I used to say to my kids all the time, you know, hey, whatever issue you got, come to me, I'll help you with it. I can't fix this. There's nothing that I can do to fix what happened to my daughter.
Detective Mark Green later testified that Mahogany accused Pope of taking her money and her gun. Pope himself admitted to police that she made him strip at gunpoint to prove he wasn't hiding it. Investigators still aren't sure exactly how much time passed between that confrontation and the moment things turned violent. But once it turned, it didn't stop. Over the hours that followed, Mahogany was moved between 2 apartments, Pope's and a second one belonging to a woman named Tasia Lewis. Several people in that room chose to film parts of what happened next on their own phones. Testimony built from that footage
just the pure evilness of what happened to Mahogany is more than heartbreaking, of course. It's awful and it should not happen.
A mother sharing another mother's pain.
Knowing that what her mother's feeling right now, yeah, it's breaking my heart.
Angela Harris, mother of Anaya Blanchard, who was killed more than 4 years ago, knows that pain more than anyone.
When I think about what happened to Anaya, and then to think about what Mahogany, well, sorry if I cry, what Mahogany went through, I know that she was scared, and scared is probably not even the word.
Mahogany Jackson texted her family just before 8 Sunday morning, crying out for help, and dropped a pin with her location.
She did what she was supposed to do. She reached out for help.
The investigation into Blanchard's death shows she tried to defend herself by reaching for her killer's gun, putting up a fight to save her life, just like Jackson did.
I'm so proud of her for trying. I'm proud of her for dropping that pen, for trying to get in touch with her family members. And that's what breaks my heart, is knowing that she tried and knowing how scared she was.
After Jackson's death, Harris says she learned anyone who fears for their life can text 911 for help.
Gun violence is every day. Of course, we know that now. It's every day, everywhere, all over. And it just seems to be like people are accepting it for some reason, and more peace or comfort, to her family and her friends. But as far as her and remembering her, knowing that she did do something that could help save somebody else's.
One individual, so bad. My child was 120 pounds.
Described Mahogany being dragged, slapped, kicked, spat on. At one point, prosecutors say she was struck repeatedly with a baseball found nearby. Multiple people in the videos held guns, pointed them at her. When prosecutors asked the lead detective, on the record, whether Mahogany was ever free to leave during any of it, his answer was one line: no, she was not. At some point during those hours, Mahogany got access to her phone. She used it to message her mother, Gail Maddox, sending her location at the Serenity apartment complex and the name of someone who lived there. She told her mother not to call her back. Send the police. Hurry. It was the last message anyone would ever get from her, and it worked exactly the way it should have. Gail called police immediately. Officers were at that apartment complex within minutes. Mahogany wasn't there. Investigators later learned that after that text went out, the people holding her found out she'd used her phone. She was forced to give up her passcode so they could see what she'd sent. By the time officers were searching the complex, she'd already been moved somewhere else. At 2:19 a.m. on February 26th, a passerby called 911 about a body on the side of the road, the corner of 17th Street Southwest and Laurel Avenue, a stretch locals call Dead Man's Road. It was Mahogany, shot once, in the back of the head. Testimony later established that Brandon Pope drove her to that location, with Francis Harris and Jeremiah McDowell in the car. Detectives said both McDowell and Pope told investigators Harris fired the shot, and investigators believed the group already knew, by then, that Mahogany had texted her mother asking for help. They killed her anyway.
Giovanni Clapp, black female, 23 years of age. She is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, sodomy first degree, and assault second with injury. Blair Green, black male, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, and sodomy first degree. Tasia Lewis, black female, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, assault second, injury with a weapon. Francis Harris, black male, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first degree, and capital murder and kidnapping first. Sanaya McCall, black female, 23 years of age, of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, and sodomy first. Jeremiah McDowell, black male, 18 years of age, of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first, and capital murder with kidnapping first. Brandon Pope, black male, 24 years of age, of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, kidnapping first, and capital murder with sodomy first. The facts of this case are deplorable and sickening. Saddest of all, they were made public by the suspect's decision to videotape portions of this horrific act. We hope to shield Mahogany's family and friends by withholding specific facts surrounding the investigation. However, we have determined that Mahogany was a victim of sexual assault with murder and kidnapping. Recently, Mayor Randall Woodfin and the Birmingham Police Department have urged the public assistance to help the Birmingham Police Department investigate violent acts such as these described in this case. In Birmingham, you answered the call. It's hurtful to know that 7 individuals could participate in such vile acts, but this case highlights the strengths and the effectiveness of the partnership between the Birmingham Police Department and our community, as 7 suspects are now behind the bars and will soon be in custody of the Jefferson County Jail with no bond. And I'll tell you, as many of you know, I served a number of years in the homicide unit. And this is undoubtedly one of the most heinous acts I've seen in my career. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm very thankful to the men and women of the Birmingham Police Department who've worked tirelessly for many days and at very long hours to bring resolution to this particular case and get these individuals off the streets of Birmingham. And I also want to highlight the assistance of the citizens of Birmingham who came forward and gave us information that led to the arrest of these individuals. And I can't thank them enough.
Chief, can you tell us how long Mahogany was held hostage and tortured, and do you have a possible motive?
I will say that all of these individuals were acquaintances, that they were not strangers to one another. As far as an exact time of how long she was held, I don't have that information.
And do you have a potential motive?
I would just say that they're all acquaintances of one another.
I know on early Monday morning, you all went out there with the family to go look for her. What happened during that time? Were you all able to find her? Or clearly not at that moment, but what happened? How did you...
Well, on Monday's when we found her body. You know, Sunday's when we got the information about the fact that she had been kidnapped and began a search to try to locate her. It was in the early hours of Monday morning that we received information that led us to where her body was, so we were able to recover and begin a homicide investigation at that point.
So in no way you all made it to the apartment complex that was in question?
We had been to that apartment complex on Sunday, yes.
So what happened there? Did you make contact with any of
We did make contact with someone. We did question some individuals.
What came of that conversation?
One of those individuals is charged.
Did they admit to that?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the case because that would hurt the criminal case, but it was all pieces of the puzzle, I guess, if you could say.
And out of situations like these, where with her texting her family members saying she was being hostage or asking them to send the police, and you go to this apartment, can you just go in? Is that probable cause? Like, how does that work?
So we have to look at the totality of circumstances. Each case is different, has a different set of facts. We have to look at what we've got, and then, you know, there's different ways, whether we need to obtain a search warrant, we can gain consent, or, as you kind of alluded to, if the facts are just egregious enough, then we could go in and make sure no one's in danger.
So of the 7 people, have most of them been compliant and talking to detectives who have been working on this case?
There again, that's something that will need to come out in court. You know, that's part of the criminal case.
Chief, how exactly did the public assist in identifying these suspects, and are you confident that these are all of the suspects you want?
I am very confident that this is all the suspects. Just them giving us some of the information that they had seen, that they had been made aware of, giving that information to our detectives so they could follow up from there, which led us to the culmination of these individuals being in jail today.
Chief, I know you said you can't tell us the motive right now, but I saw, is it true, can you confirm, has there been like a video going around of a fight prior to the murder that occurred?
Well, I won't necessarily say there was a fight. There's videos of some of these heinous acts taking place, and that's something that was a pivotal piece of the investigation. So I'll just leave it at that.
Chief, how big of a role would you say those text messages and her contacting her family, how big of a role did that play?
Well, I think that was a very big role because that kind of got the police involved. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been involved prior to that time had that information not gotten out to someone so they could alert us so we could begin an investigation. The investigation initially began as a missing persons case. You know, our investigators spent all day out, most of that night, trying to locate her, following up on leads to see where she could be and things of that nature. And then, you know, unfortunately, a few hours later, we received information of where her body was. We went to that location and did indeed find her body.
Chief, I just want to clarify something from earlier.
I haven't seen any victims and his family's here, so I'll be able to
She has contracted.
Did the victims all the suspects all knew each other? Did they also know the victim?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone involved in the case, victim suspects, were all acquainted with one another.
Can you say if the person that led you to Mahogany's body is one of the suspects?
They are not.
And do you know where Mahogany was shot? Was that the apartment complex?
there again, that's some of the facts that the detectives they'll be presenting in court.
How much longer do you think it'll take to kind of sort of wrap this case up before you get to court? Are there more things that you're gathering?
There's constantly always things, that are ongoing in a case. There's a lot of other leads and things to follow up on, testing of evidence, getting, things back from search warrants, things of that nature. So there's always, just because an arrest is made, there's still a lot of things that need to be done before we get to court to make sure that every stone is unturned, everything is checked into and evaluated.
Do you all think that these are the only people that were involved, all 7?
Yes. Yes.
How many other locations was she taken to other than the first apartment?
There were some others. There again, that's something that's kind of critical to the case, that only the people involved would know some of that information. So sharing that with the public could potentially hurt the criminal case in the future.
Can you say if she was killed at the location she was found, or killed somewhere else?
I don't have that information.
Is there anything you want to say to the community? I know we've had for several weeks, days, have been talking about homicides happening, and in 48 hours people came forward, which is not common in some of the cases that you all are dealing with. Is there anything that you want to say to those folks who came out and helped the detective business?
I would just like to drive home to our citizens that this is the outcomes that we can have when we all work together. We can get these people off the street very quickly to ensure the safety of everyone in Birmingham when we all work together and information is shared. And so these men and women who work in the Birmingham Police Department work very hard. They haven't hardly been home working on this case and some of the other cases, but this is what can happen when we all work together and we share information. They won't stop as long as there's things to work on in this. As long as the public shares that information, we'll continue to follow up on it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.